Hey, what's going on, Fort Strong? Travis here coming at you. Wanted to do a quick video here in regards to swap outs for different aerobic-based movements that we do inside Fort Strong. So rowing, assault bike, running, different things to that nature. It's not always a straight out swap, all right? So a lot of times I'll get the question like, Travis, we're rowing 500 meters today in the workout. Should I just swap in 500-meter run? And it makes sense to think that, but at the same time, it might not be the same, all right? And so you want to make sure you got different things set in place. I'm gonna give you a couple different examples here to make sure you're making the right swap. And so the first one will be, let's say we got a 500-meter row in your workout and you don't have a rower, okay? Let's say you have a bike. So stimulus-wise, we're thinking 500 meters. If it's just on its own, more than likely that's like a sprint, so it's gonna be very high stimulus-wise, so like intensity. Or if it's inside of a workout, it's not necessarily gonna be a sprint, but it's still gonna be like at a moderate pace. So you're not going at like an aerobic type pace, you're still gonna be pushing the pace. And so what you're thinking about here time-wise, elites are going to be around 130, and we'll just say 2 minutes. Calories really don't apply because we're messing with the distance, and so we're thinking like a minute, like 90 seconds up to 2 minutes is what you're going to be doing for 500 meters. And so if we're looking to swap this to a bike, then we can either just say, all right, we're going to hop on a bike and we're going to go anywhere from 100 or 90 seconds to 2 minutes at a high to moderate pace. Or if you kind of know the distance that you would cover in that time, you would just do that. But having experience on the bike, knowing what I can get in around a minute and a half, 2 minutes, you're thinking almost around 30, well, I'd say at a low end like 25, around 30 calories on the bike would more than likely equal the same amount. And so you could swap out that way. But it's going to be relevant to you, all right? And so if you aren't very fit yet and a 500-meter row for you would take you like 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, then the swap out on the bike is going to have to be relevant to you. So that'd be one example. And then let's say we didn't have anything as far as a bike or a rower, and the workout was calling for a 500-meter row. Looking at a run, we're thinking a minute and a half, 2 minutes, probably looking at a 400-meter run. So a 400-meter run, you're thinking 90 seconds, 2 minutes within a workout. That 400-meter run would more than likely be a good swap out for that. Now, if we don't have access to running, what could we do instead? Thinking of the time up here, you might just do 90 seconds of burpees, if anything. So it's not going to be at an all-out blistering pace, it's going to be at a fast pace. So thinking 90 seconds, do burpees. If you're thinking of an actual like amount of burpees, again, this is going to come from experience, having done this a while. You're thinking in 90 seconds, can probably get around, elites can probably get 25 burpees in that time. So you're thinking like 15 to 25 burpees maybe in 90 seconds. Again, just depends. I'm throwing some numbers out there for you guys, right? So those would be some different ways to think about that. Now, let's go on the other end of the spectrum. I'll cover a couple different ways here. Let's say we're going to go for a mile run. It's raining outside, you can't get outside to run, but you have a rower. Would it directly go to a 1,600-meter row? I would say no, because you're thinking a run, 7 to 8 minutes, maybe even, and again, this is all relevant to you, so if you're really out of shape, maybe it's 10 minutes for a minute run, right? Stimulus is more aerobic base. And so thinking about that, if we wanted to switch to a row, you're thinking like 7 to 8 minutes. For some people, that might be a 2K row. So if you're going at like a 2-minute pace, 500, that's a 2K row, which is going to take you anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes. Now if you're in the 10-minute range, maybe it's a little bit different, and that would be your ideal swap out, right? Because thinking 2K row, it's about the same amount of time here. Cows, we really wouldn't mess with the cows because we're going distance. On a bike, you'd think something similar. So don't really know the distance. I couldn't tell you unless you have the experience doing it. In this case, you might just go 7 to 8 minutes, you know, at a sustainable aerobic type pace on the bike, and that would be your swap out for that. If we're looking at body weight or something like that, we couldn't run, but yet we're inside doing 7 to 8 minutes of, you know, kettlebell swings or something like that. Probably not going to be a great swap out for you. Or 7 to 8 minutes of burpees, it's going to turn into a complete suck fest. And so you might think of something like jump rope then. Just nice, easy, sustainable jump rope for 7 to 8 minutes. That might be a swap out. Thing is, you need to start getting resourceful. Like, don't get to the point where you're like, I can't run, I can't row, I can't bike, oh, screw this, like, I can't do it. Like, you can always figure something out, swap it in, look at the different pieces that you have in place and try to make the best swap out possible. That's getting resourceful. And, you know, it might not be perfect, but you're still going to make progress, right? All right, so for the bike, because the bike is a common one that we use, that not a lot of people have access to a bike. And so let's say we're going to do 30 cals on the bike, okay? If it was on its own, this would be more of a anaerobic type stimulus, so like you're going as hard as you can. But let's say that's like put in to a workout and we got 3 rounds of 30 cal bike mixed in with other stuff. Now it's going to turn into like a moderate pace type stimulus. Obviously you're not going balls to the wall, you need to sustain your pace. And so how would we switch that out? 30 cals on the bike, we're thinking probably if you're going at an anaerobic pace, 90 seconds. If you're going 30 cals at a moderate pace, it might be up to like 3 minutes. Okay, so there's, again, the stimulus. You got to be looking at the workout. You got to think of the pace that you're going to be pushing that implement at, and then that's how you make your swap. So let's say we don't have a bike. Looking at what we have here, and we'll just say for simplicity reasons, this is going to be in a workout. So we're thinking moderate pace, probably around 3 minutes. 3 minutes at a moderate pace, 30 calories, whatever. So if we were to run, we're thinking 3 minutes would probably be anywhere from like 600 to 800 meters, depending on who you are, right? So that's going to take you about 3 minutes. So that would be an ideal swap. And then if we're coming up to the row, we're thinking like a moderate 500 meter is going to be 2 minutes. So we might think 750 meters on the row would be a good swap out, because that's going to take you, maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And so we got some sort of connection there. Now, if we don't have any of these options available to us, we're thinking 30 cals, a good swap out for the bike. If we just have body weight, it's just as brutal. It's taxing out similar muscles that you're going to be using on the bike. I really like lunge jumps. Lunge jumps or short shuttle sprints, right? In this instance, if we're going like for 30 cals, I would simply double that amount. I'd do 60 lunge jumps. That's what I'd do. And swap out if we don't have anything else. Or you can consider doing triple the amount of swings. That could be another swap out. You don't thinking 90 swings. You can get 30 swings done in a minute. Go with a really light weight, and now you're turning into like a sustainable aerobic type movement, right? Different options that you could be using here. Now let's say, for instance, we have, instead of 30 cals, it's something shorter like a 12 or a 15 cal within a workout. So instead of doing lunge jumps, maybe that's when we go to like a shuttle sprint if we have access to running, like a short shuttle sprint, like 10 meters out, 10 meters back. I like that as a swap out for your bike. So you're just sprinting out, sprinting back, sprinting out, sprinting back, and you're thinking of 12 calories on the bike. That would take a very short amount of time. And so maybe you're just going to do, 4 to 5 shuttle sprints. It just depends. But it's something that you can think about. And with these swaps, it's always looking at the workout, looking at the stimulus that you're trying to get out of it, and then making the correct swap there. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you got any questions, let me know, and I'll see you on the inside.